Apparently, somewhere along the way, we decided that centuries of medical science could be replaced by a comment section, a blurry blog post from 2009, and a guy named WellnessDad42 who thinks onions in socks can cure the flu. And the truly impressive part? People didn't just read this stuff, they committed. Fully, like, ignore all warning labels and basic biology levels of commitment. We're talking about treatments so confident, so wildly unnecessary, they make actual diseases look reasonable by comparison. And if you think the internet has learned its lesson, oh no, we're just getting warmed up. 1. I love how we collectively decided that if you put onions in your socks overnight, you can draw out toxins. Draw them out. Where? The onion dimension? I picture toxins packing their tiny bags like, well, guess we live in a vegetable now. And people swear by this. Not quietly either. Loud, Facebook post, confident. Meanwhile, the only thing being drawn out is your dignity and the will of anyone sharing a bed with you. Imagine explaining this to a doctor. Yes, I skipped antibiotics, but I did marinate my feet in produce. Congratulations, you've reinvented foot salad as a medical treatment. 2. Then there's the classic, drinking bleach cures illness. Not metaphorically, literally drinking it. Somewhere, someone read, kills 99.9% of germs and thought, perfect, I'll just become the remaining 0.1%. That's not medicine. That's speed running your own obituary. And the confidence is what gets me. People weren't unsure. They were debating brands like they were picking a wine. This one has a nice citrus finish and mild internal organ damage. You don't cleanse your body, you evict yourself from it. 3. I once saw people claim that holding your breath can cure hiccups because it resets your system. Reset what? Are we Windows 95 now? Have you tried turning your lungs off and on again? And sure, sometimes it works, but that's not because you hacked biology. That's because your body got bored of your nonsense. The logic here is incredible. Inconvenience meets inconvenience, and somehow we call it therapy. By that logic, stubbing your toe should fix a headache. Honestly, don't give the internet ideas. 4. Let's talk about detox teas, the magical liquid that promises to flush out toxins. A word so vague it might as well mean vibes. Nobody ever names the toxins. It's always just toxins. Like your body is hosting a rave of invisible villains that only $39.99 herbal water can defeat. Meanwhile, your liver is sitting there like, hey, I've been doing this job for free your entire life, but sure, outsource me to overpriced leaf juice. And the side effects? Oh, just aggressive bathroom trips that make you question every life decision that led you there. Wellness, apparently, is just panic with branding. 5. There was a trend where people believed that eating silver, actual metallic silver, could boost your immune system. Not supplements, not vitamins, literal shiny metal. Because nothing says health like turning yourself into a human teaspoon. And yes, it can turn your skin blue permanently, which means you don't just feel stupid, you look like a rejected Avatar character. Imagine explaining that. I wanted better immunity, and now I match my Wi-Fi icon. That's not medicine, that's committing to a bit way too hard. 6. Somewhere along the line, people decided that essential oils could replace actual medicine. Not complement, replace. Like peppermint oil is out here doing open heart surgery. Doctor, step aside, I've got lavender. And don't get me wrong, they smell nice. So does a candle. That doesn't mean I'm rubbing a Yankee Candle on a broken leg and calling it orthopedics. But the confidence, unshakable. These people talk like eucalyptus is one clinical trial away from curing everything except bad decisions, which, ironically, is the one thing they actually need. 7. I've seen people try to cure ear infections by pouring warm candle wax near their ear to pull out impurities. This is not medicine. This is a fire hazard with ambition. You're basically one bad angle away from turning a minor infection into a full-blown insurance claim. And the logic is incredible. Let's treat a sensitive organ with melted wax. That's not healing. That's how villains in movies torture spies. At some point, you have to ask yourself, if your treatment sounds like a medieval punishment, maybe, just maybe, don't. 8. Then there's the belief that you can boost your immune system indefinitely. People talk about it like it's a gym membership. I'm trying to get my immunity shredded. That's not how it works. If your immune system gets too strong, congratulations. You've unlocked autoimmune disease, where your body starts attacking you like it just discovered betrayal. That's not strength, that's civil war. But sure, keep chugging mystery powders because a guy on TikTok said it makes your white blood cells aggressive. Yeah, toward you. 9. I love the people who Google symptoms and immediately conclude they have a rare tropical disease. You sneeze twice and suddenly well, it could be dehydration, or a condition only found in 3 people in Antarctica. Google doesn't diagnose, it escalates. It's the WebMD cinematic universe. Every symptom is either drink water or prepare your affairs. There is no middle ground, and somehow, instead of calming down, people double down. I knew it, my headache is exotic. No, it's dehydration and poor decisions. 10. There was a time people believed that magnets could cure pain if you just wore them long enough. Magnets, like your fridge decorations, are secretly licensed physicians. This one holds up grocery lists and heals my back. That's not science, that's multitasking delusion. And the idea is that magnets somehow realign your body's energy, which is fascinating because if that worked, every time you walked past a microwave, you'd achieve enlightenment. But no, just your posture and your skepticism slowly collapsing together. 11. Some people genuinely believe that vaccines are more dangerous than the diseases they prevent, which is an impressive level of confidence considering history exists. It's like looking at centuries of deadly outbreaks and going, yeah, but what if I just vibe through it? And the arguments always sound like conspiracy fan fiction. They're putting things in it. Yes, protection. That's literally the point. Refusing vaccines because you don't trust chemicals while eating fast food is the kind of contradiction that deserves its own documentary. 12. I once saw someone recommend using super glue to close a wound instead of going to the hospital. And technically, yes, medical-grade adhesives exist. But that's not what you have in your junk drawer next to expired batteries. You're not performing surgery. You're crafting. Imagine explaining that infection. Well, I sealed it with something that also fixes broken mugs. At that point, your body isn't healing. It's just confused. Like, are we repairing tissue or assembling IKEA? 13. Let's not forget the belief that you can sweat out a fever by wrapping yourself in blankets like a human burrito. The logic, if you're hot, become hotter. That's not treatment. That's doubling down. You're basically negotiating with your body like, what if we both suffer more? And sure, sweating happens, but so does overheating, dehydration, and regret. You don't cure a fire by adding more fire, unless your medical strategy is based entirely on vibes and poor thermodynamics. 14. People also thought that putting toothpaste on burns would help heal them. Toothpaste. Because apparently your skin and your teeth are interchangeable now. It works for cavities, so why not third-degree burns? That's not cross-functionality, that's chaos. All you're doing is turning a painful injury into a minty fresh mistake. Somewhere, a dentist is watching this happen and quietly reconsidering their entire profession. 15. And finally, the absolute classic. Natural means safe. This is how people end up trusting random plants like they're friendly NPCs. Newsflash, nature is not your wellness coach. Nature invented poison ivy, venom, and mushrooms that will end your entire storyline in one bite. But sure, if it grows in the ground, it must be gentle and kind. That logic is exactly how you end up Googling, why am I hallucinating after eating something I found outside? And the answer is always the same, because you trusted vibes over reality. 16. I've seen people try to alkalize their body by drinking baking soda water, like they're scrubbing a kitchen sink from the inside. The idea is that your body is apparently just one bad pH day away from collapse, and the solution is pantry supplies. Meanwhile, your body is already maintaining its pH with terrifying precision, because if it didn't, you'd be unconscious in about 5 minutes. But sure, override millions of years of biology with Arm and Hammer. And the side effects? Oh, just stomach explosions that make you question your life choices and your plumbing. You didn't fix your health. You turned your digestive system into a science fair volcano. 17. Then there's the people who believe staring at the sun is somehow beneficial. Not metaphorically, literally looking at it. because apparently the giant nuclear fireball in the sky is just misunderstood wellness content. It energizes me. Yeah, so does electricity. Doesn't mean you lick a socket. And the wild part is, they'll do it at sunrise like it's a spiritual appointment. Meanwhile, your retinas are quietly filing for early retirement. This isn't enlightenment. It's speed-running blurry vision. Nature gave you eyes, not solar panels. 18. I once watched a trend where people were drinking raw, unfiltered water straight from natural sources because it's pure. You mean the same nature that houses parasites, bacteria, and things with names that sound like rejected horror movie villains. There's this romantic idea that if it looks like a mountain stream in a commercial, it must be safe. Meanwhile, your intestines are about to host a full-scale microbial convention. Clean water was one of humanity's greatest achievements, and we've somehow rebranded avoiding it as edgy. 19. There's a whole group of people convinced that crystals can heal physical illness if you just hold them with enough intention, not emotionally, physically. Like your kidney stones are going to look at your quartz and go, "Fair enough, we'll leave." I'm not saying crystals are useless. They're great at being rocks. That's their job. But the leap from pretty mineral to licensed physician is wild. If rocks cured disease, construction sites would be the healthiest places on Earth. 20. I love the people who refuse sunscreen because it's chemicals, as if the sun is just a friendly lamp with good intentions. That's not light, that's radiation with a personality. The same force that can fade your car paint is currently working on your skin like it's a long-term art project. But no, let's skip protection because a blog said it blocks your natural glow. Yes, melanoma also glows. On medical charts. 21. Somewhere out there, someone decided that fasting for extreme lengths of time is a miracle cure for everything. Not controlled fasting, just full, I'm not eating until my problems disappear. And technically, yes, your problems do disappear eventually, along with your energy, your focus, and your ability to stand up without seeing stars. Your body isn't healing. It's negotiating with itself like, we're eating again, right? Starving yourself is not a cleanse. It's your organs slowly unsubscribing. 22. I've seen people try to treat infections with garlic in places garlic should never go. And I mean never. Because garlic is natural and antibacterial. So is fire. But we don't apply that directly either. The problem is, the body is not a pasta dish. You can't just season it and expect balance. And when it goes wrong, it goes spectacularly wrong. Because now, you're not just dealing with the original problem. You've added a new, very confusing one. Somewhere, a doctor is hearing this story and reconsidering their career. 23. There's this belief that if something hurts, you should just walk it off. Which is great advice if you're mildly inconvenienced, not if you've clearly broken something. I've seen people limp around for days like their body is just being dramatic. It's probably fine. Meanwhile, your bone is doing modern art inside your leg. Pain is not a suggestion. It's your body filing a formal complaint. Ignoring it doesn't make you tough. It makes you a future X-ray anecdote. 24. People also think that if a little vitamin is good, then a lot must be better, which is how you end up taking enough supplements to qualify as a small pharmacy. Vitamins are helpful until they're not. Because at a certain point, your body just starts treating them like uninvited guests. We didn't ask for this. You're not becoming healthier. You're just creating expensive urine with a hint of optimism. More is not better. That's not nutrition. That's hoarding. 25. I love the trend where people try to hack sleep with bizarre routines instead of just sleeping. Ice baths, breathing patterns, eating kiwi at exactly 8:47 p.m., like it's a ritual. Meanwhile, the real solution is boring and free. Go to bed. But no. We've turned rest into a competitive sport. I only sleep in optimized cycles. Congratulations, you've gamified unconsciousness. Your ancestors slept in caves, and somehow we made it complicated. 26. There was a time people believed that smoking was actually good for you. Not just neutral, beneficial. Doctors and ads were basically saying, have you tried inhaling toxins for your health? Which is a level of irony so strong it should be studied. And people believed it. Because authority plus confidence equals instant credibility. It's a reminder that just because something is widely accepted doesn't mean it's not completely ridiculous in hindsight. 27. I've seen people treat headaches by tying something tightly around their head, like they're gift wrapping their own skull. The idea is pressure cancels out pain, which sounds like solving a noise problem by adding more noise. And sometimes it feels like it works, mostly because your brain is now distracted by a completely different discomfort. That's not healing. That's confusing your nervous system into silence. 28. Then there's the people who think antibiotics work on everything, including viruses. They'll take them for a cold like they're loading a shotgun for a mosquito. Antibiotics are powerful when used correctly. When used incorrectly, you're just training bacteria to become stronger, like a gym montage for germs. We'll be back, and this time, we're resistant. It's the microbial version of creating your own villain. 29. I've watched people refuse medical treatment because they read something online, which is the modern version of "a guy told me in a parking lot." And the source is always questionable. This blog said, that's not a credential, that's a diary with confidence. Meanwhile, actual doctors spent years studying. But sure, let's trust an article with pop-up ads and a recipe at the bottom. That's not research, that's entertainment with consequences. 30. There's a belief that you can sweat out toxins in a sauna like your body is a sponge full of regret. And yes, you sweat. But mostly you're just losing water and pretending it's progress. Your liver is still doing all the real work, quietly, like an unpaid intern. The sauna didn't cleanse you, it just made you temporarily lighter and very confident about it. You didn't detox, you dehydrated. 31. And finally, my personal favorite. The idea that if something is labeled ancient or traditional, it must be effective. Because nothing says reliable like, we've been doing this since before we understood germs. Ancient people also believed in things like bad air causing disease and leeches solving everything. Tradition is not evidence. It's just history repeating itself until someone finally says, maybe we should stop doing this. But no, let's keep going. Because clearly, the past was just waiting for us to bring it back with better marketing. So, there you go. Modern medicine meets internet confidence, and somehow the internet is winning, which is deeply impressive and mildly terrifying at the same time. If any of these felt familiar, I'm not judging, I'm just quietly concerned. Now I want to know, which one made you question humanity the most? And what insane remedy have you seen that somehow wasn't on this list? Drop it in the comments. Let's vote on the absolute dumbest. And if you enjoyed this slow descent into collective nonsense, you know what to do.